Okay, so in this video I want to tell you a brief story of a man, we will call him Jason. Now, when Jason was a child, his parents knew from a very early age that something was not quite right. They discovered fairly quickly that he had some special needs, and so they probably went a little too far on the end of overprotective parenting and saved him from a lot of things that he wasn't good at. The only problem is, as they were trying to be a good parent and perhaps even somewhat of an overindulgent parent, he wasn't developing any social or emotional muscles for later in life. But their heart was in the right place. Then Jason went on to school, and unfortunately he got labeled as a problem student by the teacher, and he tried to fit in with his peer group. Unfortunately, that didn't happen very well. He got ostracized, teased, bullied. Finally, his parents had to pull him out of their regular classroom, and he went to a special education classroom where he got more one-on-one attention, which was great. And then when he became an adolescent, around puberty time, things really took a turn for the worse. He realized that he didn't fit in. He tried to get acceptance, couldn't get it, so he basically gave up and decided to take a different route and just isolate. Spent a lot of time in his bedroom playing video games, was depressed much of his adolescence. Parents were very worried about him. He started some medication for depression, and his grades started to slip. But again, parents thinking they were doing the right thing, they didn't want to put any added pressure on him. So now we have a 17 or 18-year-old Jason who's emotionally more like an 8-year-old. Now, Jason did try to take a stab at college. That lasted about half of a semester, and he basically didn't leave his dormitory, didn't go to classes, just played video games again. So he came back home and lived at home for another 4 or 5 years. And then at about age 28, he did finally meet somebody that, a neurotypical female that he was very comfortable with, and he wanted her to like him. And so he was on his best behavior because he didn't want her to reject him like everybody else had. And they fell in love. They got married. He was greatly improved in the depression department, and they went through the honeymoon phase. And then once that phase kind of tapered off, he gravitated back to his special interest, which was computer gaming, and he kind of lost interest in a way in the marriage. And his neurotypical wife noticed that and began to complain and be concerned. And he started downloading her complaints and arguing as, yet again, somebody's not accepting me for who I am. And here again, I'm being ridiculed, rejected, and being told that I just don't measure up. So he heavily gravitated back to isolatory behavior again, just spending more and more time outside of the relationship. And then one day he decided that the marriage was more important to him than running from the problems, and so he reached out for assistance, and he currently is active today in therapy. It just happens to be with me online, and he is a very good student and very eager to save his marriage, and he's making some headway. Now, this isn't a commercial for me. This Jason, and that's just an anonymous name, that's your husband. The NTs out there listening to this, that's very likely a scenario that your spouse on the autism spectrum experienced to some degree. So, comments below this video would be greatly appreciated. How did this story about Jason compare to yours? Were there some similarities, some differences? I'd be eager to hear. Thank you. This was a story about Jason.